The lake house smells like pine and betrayal. I stare at the divorce papers on the kitchen table. Antonio's signature is slashed across the page, angry and final. My hands shake as I trace the date, March 15th. The day our world burned. It started with Eduardo. Antonio had swept me off my feet 2 summers ago. He was everything my lonely heart craved, strong, devoted, with a laugh that warmed rooms. When he introduced me to his son, Eduardo, I saw a quieter version of him, tall, brooding, with eyes that held storms. Eduardo rarely spoke to me. I told myself it was grief. His mother had died young, and I was not her replacement. We were a family until the weekend at the lake. Antonio left early for a construction job. Eduardo stayed behind, offering to help me clean. I remember the way he leaned against the doorway, watching me fold laundry. His gaze felt like a touch. "You do not have to pretend with me," he said suddenly. His voice was soft, dangerous. "I see how he ignores you." I laughed nervously. "Antonio loves me." Eduardo stepped closer. "Does he?" The room grew hot. I dropped a shirt. He picked it up, brushing my fingers. His touch lingered. That night, we drank too much wine. Eduardo's stories about his mother turned bitter. "My father erased her," he muttered. "Like he will erase you." I slapped him. He caught my wrist, pulling me into a kiss that tasted like rage and cheap Cabernet. I did not push him away. Afterward, I sobbed in the shower. Eduardo smoked on the porch, calm. "You wanted this," he said. "I will keep your secret if you keep mine." 3 days later, Antonio found us. Winter in Michigan was a silent killer. Snow buried the lake house, and Antonio's absence buried me deeper. He worked longer hours, leaving me alone with my guilt. Or so I thought. Eduardo began appearing everywhere. He brought firewood to the house, his gloves brushing mine. He fixed the broken heater, his breath warm on my neck as he explained the repairs. Each touch felt like a match strike, quick, hot, dangerous. I told myself to stop, but loneliness is a hungry thing. One night, the power went out. Eduardo arrived with a generator, his smile sharp in the flashlight's glow. "You look cold," he said. He wrapped his jacket around my shoulders. His hands stayed there. I stepped back. "This is wrong." "Wrong?" He laughed. "You think my father is not with someone else right now? You think he cares?" The words cut. Antonio had canceled our last 3 dates. He forgot our anniversary. But Eduardo remembered. He brought me roses that day, red as shame. The affair began in a motel outside Traverse City. Eduardo booked the room under a fake name. "No one knows us here," he said. I hated how easy it was. The walls were thin, but I stopped hearing them. We met in empty houses Antonio built, half-finished kitchens, naked beams overhead. Eduardo would press me against raw drywall, whispering, "You are mine now." I let him believe it. I let myself believe it. For weeks, I lived in a fog. Antonio noticed nothing. Or so I thought. Then Eduardo changed. He asked me to meet him at midnight in Antonio's office. "I have something to show you," he said. The office smelled like Antonio's cologne. Eduardo played a video on the computer. My own voice filled the room, gasps, moans, promises I did not mean. The screen showed us in the motel. I slapped the laptop shut. "Delete it." Eduardo gripped my wrists. "Why?" "This is what you wanted. To feel desired. Important. You tricked me?" "No." His smile chilled me. "You tricked yourself. You thought I wanted you? I wanted him to hurt. Now he will lose everything. His wife, his reputation. Just like I lost my mother." The truth crashed like ice. Eduardo's mother had died alone while Antonio worked. He had missed her final call. He deserves worse, Eduardo spat. And you? You helped me give it to him. I ran. Snow bit my face. Eduardo did not follow. That night, Antonio came home early. He touched my cheek. You have been crying. I almost told him. But Eduardo's voice hissed in my mind. Who will he believe? So I lied. It is nothing. Work stress. Antonio hugged me. His trust felt heavier than guilt. The next morning, Eduardo texted, "Meet me, or the video goes public." I went. The truth is a blade. It cuts cleanest when you hold it yourself. I confessed to Antonio on a Thursday. Rain lashed the windows as I choked out the words. Eduardo and we. His face paled. For a moment, I thought he might strike me. Instead, he grabbed our wedding photo and smashed it against the wall. Glass shards bit my ankles. You chose him? His voice cracked. My own son? I wanted to explain. To scream that Eduardo had manipulated me, that I had been weak, not wicked. But Antonio stormed out, tires screeching down the driveway. Eduardo struck the next day. Antonio's construction business crumbled overnight. Clients received emails with video attachments, grainy clips of motel rooms, and bare walls. I knew what they showed without opening them. The phone rang nonstop. Slut. Homewrecker. Monster. Antonio returned home hollow-eyed. They canceled every contract, he said, staring at the broken photo. No one trusts me now. Was that your plan? Eduardo sent the videos, I whispered. He wanted to punish you for missing his mother's last call. Antonio froze. Then he laughed, a raw, broken sound. He told you that lie? My son hates me because I answered her call. She begged me to keep him away. The drugs. The screaming. She did not want him to see her like that. The room spun. Eduardo had twisted the story. Used me to burn his father's life for a lie. I found Eduardo's note taped to our door that night. Now you know how it feels to lose everything. Inside, a flash drive held more videos. A threat. A goodbye. Antonio filed for divorce. The lake house sold quickly. I moved into a cramped apartment where the neighbors glare and whisper. Antonio changed his number. Changed his name, some say. Eduardo vanished. Police say he crossed into Canada. I hope the cold eats him alive. Tonight, I sit by my window, tracing the scar on my wrist from the shattered photo. Regret is a heavy guest. It stays without invitation. I thought desire could fill the holes Antonio left. Instead, I let a snake into our bed. It did not bite him first. Men like Eduardo do not love. They collect wounds and call them weapons. I was a willing blade. Now my hands bleed, and the mirror shows a stranger. I drink bitter coffee. I watch the snow. I wait for nothing. This is the price of a stolen kiss. To the viewers and listeners, what would you have done in Monica's situation? Could you forgive Eduardo's betrayal, or would revenge consume you? Drop your comments below. Share your thoughts, share the story, and do not forget to like and subscribe for more twisted tales of love, lies, and the scars they leave behind.